It is my pleasure to introduce Carlos Paguaga, who is president of the Coca-Cola Foundation and also the current chair of the ACCP Board of Directors. So with that, Carlos, please take it away.
Thank you, Jean, and welcome everyone. We're so glad that you could join us today for the annual State of the Association meeting. We have a full agenda. We'll start by sharing some updates on ACCP, provide a status report on membership and our financials, and then I'll turn it over to Carolyn to share an update on our strategic plan. During the second half of today's meeting, we'll announce and celebrate our 2024 Purpose Awards recipients, all inspiring examples of excellence in our field. This is your time to learn about your association, so please add your questions in the Q&A feature, and we'll answer them during the program. My first order of business is to introduce my colleagues on the ACCP board. These individuals are accomplished CSR and ESG leaders at their companies, and we're so appreciative of the time and wisdom they provide to govern our association. In addition, I'd like to introduce our growing ACCP team. I couldn't be prouder of this team's work. We've added several team members with deep field experience. They know their stuff and they know what you're experiencing on a daily basis, and they're here to help you. And I think I would be remiss if I didn't say they did an excellent job with the conference this year in San Diego. So kudos to the team. This has been quite a year for ACCP with a lot of pending changes, so I'd like to take this opportunity to provide a few updates. First, as many of you are aware, our Carolyn Berkowitz announced her intent to retire at the end of this year. To lead the search for ACCP's next leader, the board has retained Korn Ferry. The search is still in process, but I can report that the search committee is pleased with the number and quality of the candidates, and the search committee has been actively engaged in this important process. We anticipate making an announcement about ACCP's next CEO later this year, and we're really excited about identifying a new leader who will take ACCP into its next chapter. I'd also like to express my thanks to Carolyn, who's done an amazing job and is still 100% engaged and committed to advancing our strategic plan and making the transition as smooth as possible. Second, I'd like to update you on ACCP's application to convert from a 501c6 to a 501c3. ACCP submitted an application to the IRS in March, and we're in waiting mode for it to be approved. We anticipate a ruling by the end of the year, but the IRS doesn't guarantee anything on timing. Once it's approved, we will inform the membership so everybody can be aware. And finally, I'd like to remind those of us who are in budgeting mode that ACCP's membership dues will be going up 5% in 2025. Even with this nominal increase, ACCP's membership dues remain lower than most other organizations in this sector, all while offering tremendous value. Before turning it over to Carolyn for the next section, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your engagement and support of ACCP. This peer community is special, and I'm thankful for it every day. Carolyn, I'll turn the program over to you now.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much, Carlos, for your generous introduction and for your introductory words for the State of the Association. And thank you all, especially on the call today, for participating. When I think about what makes ACCP so unique, it always comes back to that supportive peer community that we have created together. And I believe that your involvement in ACCP is our special sauce. So let's start with a membership report. As you can see in this slide, our membership continues to grow. We ended 2023 with 254 member companies, which is the highest that our membership has ever been. And so far in 2024, we've welcomed 21 new member companies to our community. ACCP is also financially healthy. These charts show that in 2023, we exceeded our revenue goals were below budgeted expenses and continued to maintain a healthy reserve. The chart on the left shows our total revenue, which is the blue bars, and you can see that it exceeded our budgeted target revenue, which is the yellow line there. The purple line, for your information, shows the previous year for comparison. So we were over revenue last year. And on the right, you can see that our expenses, which is the green bars, came in below budget. At year end, our net revenue was invested into an infrastructure fund from which we can draw down over time to serve our members, including building our capacity, creating new programs, and enhancing technology. The next set of charts, thank you, shows our 2024 financials through July 31st. So you can see on the left that we have exceeded our revenue goal for the year. And I do want to explain the light blue bars are deferred revenue, which means that because of our accrual accounting, the revenue is not booked until we actually deliver the services. So you can see that our revenue that we've collected is above, but it will show up as the year goes on and as we deliver those services. You can also see that we exceeded our sponsorship revenue also in that light blue. And so much of that is conference revenue that will be booked very shortly. So I do want to give a special thanks to our 2024 sponsors and funders that made this possible. We have had a record year in fundraising, and those members and partners who provided financial support this year have allowed us to develop and introduce new and very exciting offerings. As I mentioned, we budgeted to draw down on the infrastructure fund, which I told you about on the last slide, based on our 2023 surplus. So as of today, we are expecting that we will slightly underspend against budget, but the budgeted number for expenses is higher than revenue because of that drawdown. And then finally, you can see on the far right that our investment income has ticked up in line with the market gains. And so before I move on to programmatic highlights, I just want to make sure that there are no questions about what I've presented thus far. Okay. So with no questions, I'll move on to the programmatic highlights of the year. We are now in our second full year of our 3 to 5 year strategic plan, and we have 4 priorities that align with our mission to increase the effectiveness of corporate social impact professionals. Our 4 priorities, as you can see, are advancing knowledge and practice in the field, building community, diversifying our profession, and advocating on behalf of the profession. And I will share a few of the highlights of our work in each of these pillars. Our recent membership survey, and thank you to those who participated in it, showed that you value CSR insights, data and resources, and research, and connections with your peers the most. And so we've made great strides in those areas this year. In July, we released our 5th annual CSR Insights report, and that was in partnership with Your Cause by Blackboard. And the Insights report got significant press coverage, particularly that 96% of you said your company's commitment to DEI is steadfast despite the public backlash, which is so important, and I'm so glad about that finding. To answer what we know is also a huge challenge for you, we published an impact measurement toolkit this year in partnership with True Impact, and we're continuing to make enhancements to our online resource directory and our benchmarking directory. I would encourage everybody on the call today to make sure that the demographics in your benchmarking are updated in the ACCP portal. We know how important benchmarking data is to you, but there is no data to share if each of you aren't including your own information. You can do that at any time, so I would encourage you to do that now or as soon as you can. In terms of our programs on the right, you can see that we offered a new virtual summit this year that was designed to help you navigate what we believe are the rapid fire changes that are coming from the polarization of our recent times. Our second virtual summit is coming up this December 3rd to 4th, and it's on impact measurement. It's 2 virtual half days, and the team is putting a link in the chat that you can use to register, or you could register on our website. We were excited this year to train a brand new cohort of emerging leaders at our forum. And just 2 weeks ago, as Carlos mentioned, we held our largest CSR conference ever with more than 400 participants in San Diego. Next year, we will be in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. And so please mark your calendars for September 15th to 17th for Atlanta. And then finally, I want to call out our member support service, which used to be called ACCP Connect. We rebranded it this year, and it is now called ACCP Assist. Experts on our team field member questions of all kinds, and we're here to help you. You can make a request through the ACCP portal, and we will answer that and do some individualized research for you as quickly as we can. The last thing is that I'm thrilled to announce that we are now rolling out a select number of customized trainings that we can offer specifically for your company by working through the content of those trainings and then addressing your needs in particular with our content for a select group from your company. So if that's something of interest to you, please also let us know through ACCP Assist. So moving to the next slide, we have 2 new programs that we announced at our conference last week, which we are really, really excited about. The first is called CSR Launchpad, which is our first on-demand online course that provides foundational basics of corporate social impact. And so if you think about people who are brand new to the field or who are considering coming into the field, course 1 is available to them and to you all at no cost. And then we are developing and will be introducing additional courses in that series next year. So feel free to sign up or to refer others to it if you perhaps have an informational interview request, or you are looking to explain the field to stakeholders. They can all learn through this program. And I would especially like to thank Co-America, who sponsored the development of that course in part, and we're grateful to them for that. Our second program is called RISE, Realizing Inclusive Leadership in Corporate Social Impact, which is in development right now and will kick off in 2025. RISE is the first of its kind leadership development program. It is designed specifically for mid-career CSR professionals who aspire to leadership roles, and it is being developed with a racial and an ethnic lens, and also around equity. So both equity in terms of the content that is covered and equity in terms of advancing the field. The application process will begin later this year, and you will continue to hear more about those programs in the months ahead. Do feel free, though, to use these QR codes on there, and in one case, you will be directed to the Launchpad. In the other, you can sign up to get more information as it comes out about the RISE program. So when we think about ACCP, building connections through the community and within the community is a cornerstone of our work. Each month, our members connect and learn from one another in peer discussions, online communities, and during our programs. And you can see the peer groups and member groups and peer discussions listed here. Topical Thursday is a monthly members-only peer discussion that is developed around a trending topic or a topic that bubbles up of interest to our members. We also host periodic community conversations that bubble up from very often from the online communities and those discussions. And our member groups, and you can see them, meet regularly throughout the year. We have a member group page on our website, and we are always looking both for folks to attend those and to have those intimate peer conversations, and for volunteers who can co-lead our member groups. So if that's something you're interested in doing for 2025, it's a great opportunity both to flex your leadership muscles and to lead in your area and volunteer for your membership organization. And so please reach out to Hillary at ACCP.org for that. So I'll go on now to our third strategic priority, which is advancing equity in the profession. And it includes a variety of things. One is educating our members on the ways that you all can infuse equitable practices into your work, as well as working to bring in more professionals with diverse backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives, all in the name of achieving greater impact. I talked a little bit about the RISE program already, but just for a bit more background on why we decided to do this intensive cohort learning experience, we did a study back in 2021, and the data showed that there was a real homogeneous field, that there was a dearth of diversity among professionals. And another thing that we have learned is that data shows us that when the CSR department lead is a person of color, their teams are much more diverse and representative of the communities they serve. So we're very proud of that, and it is key to our strategy for diversifying the field and for advancing equity. We are still fundraising for that initiative. We want to be sure that it is financially accessible to all who are interested in taking it, and that it's something that we can sustain over the years, well beyond our pilot. So if the opportunity piques your interest to learn more about funding, please do reach out to Jean Metzger. And then our final strategic pillar is to advocate for the field, including providing resources that help you to make the compelling case internally for the value of your work, and for that make the case for you to have increased resources. That is why we recently published our 4th annual Making the Case report, which we continue to provide, that is filled with the very most current data on ROI of the profession and why it matters for companies to do that. We also know that without public awareness and C-suite resources dedicated to the CSR function, the work that you do can't grow. And so we are now in year 2 of a communications campaign that is designed to reach and influence C-suite executives with a set of messages that elevate the bottom line importance of CSR and ESG and the value that the company derives from resourcing these functions appropriately. We've made great progress with our data and advocacy being mentioned in mainstream media like USA Today and Fast Company, and in business publications like Bloomberg and Fortune, and even the New York Stock Exchange newsletter. So that is one of the strategies that we really continue to keep putting our foot on the gas, and are seeing progress from our efforts. So before I pass it back to Carlos, I do have two asks of you, because what kind of CEO would I be if I did not ask for something from our members when we have you all together? The first is to continue to be engaged and to involve your colleagues on your teams. There is so much opportunity and benefit throughout the organization, and we hope you'll all take full advantage of everything that we have to offer. The second is to help us spread the word. When I first started at ACCP, many people joked with me that the organization was the sector's best kept secret. Well, you can imagine that that didn't sit so well with me. And so we have come a long way from those days. But there are still so many companies that are missing out because they haven't been asked by a trusted peer to join our community. Our number one source of new members is referrals from enthusiastic existing members who share the love. And so you can see that there is a QR code and a link. And this link goes to our Member Get a Member campaign or resource page that gives you sample social posts and emails and all kinds of tools and resources that you can easily personalize to share with ACCP or to share about ACCP with others in your networks. So I will turn back to you, Carlos.
Thank you, Carolyn, and thank you for sharing the State of the Association report with us. I'd like to call on Joni Finch, Vice Chair, for a motion to ratify the State of the Association report as presented.
So moved.
Great. Thank you, Joni. Is there a second? If somebody could just type in second. Thank you, Sandy. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please type aye in the chat. If there's any opposed, please vote nay in the chat. Great. Thanks, everyone.